All right, welcome back to the Rusty Beauties Garage. I'm Chef Tush. There's Elin of Rusty Beauties fame over there. And we're back on the 1962 Triumph TR4 project. And the first thing we decided to do today was to try and fix that really loud exhaust leak in the passenger compartment. It's leaking from the center joint here. So we're just going to pull it off completely. We've got it loosened up with the clamp up here. The clamp is down there. I don't know if you can see that or not. But we only got one other fixture here at the rear. So we're going to pull that off, pull the pipe out. We might either look at expanding the pipe, or we might actually even weld a little bit further length of pipe on to get it a little bit further up to the front pipe. But we'll figure it out, and we'll get that sounding or better, and hopefully a leak free here in the center, because that's making a huge racket in the engine compartment. So we'll get that fixed and hopefully get the thing sounding better. Our fallback position is to put the old stainless steel exhaust back on and get rid of the, I'm not sure if this is a Stabro or ANSA exhaust, whatever, but we have the old stainless steel exhaust over there, which is in great condition. So if we need to put that back on, we put it back on, right?
Yep.
All right. You forgot to say something.
Are we crack-a-lacking already?
Well, you're already crack-a-lacking, so you're a little late.
You start crack-a-lacking.
Okay, I'll start doing something. I'll pull him out from underneath the car when he needs to come out. All right, the exhaust sounds much better now. So we've got it sealed up here. Got a tiny little bit of leak at the rear, but not too bad. Much better here. I think we've eradicated the leak that was here. So, want to rev that up a little bit? Want to rev it up a bit? So yeah, so we added a little 3-inch piece to the exhaust, and added a couple of extra clamps, and I think we're good to go now. So I think the next job we're going to do, now that we have the exhaust fixed, we're now going to change the shifter out. Somebody had asked if we had a 4-speed shifter, and we do over here. I'm going to dig that out. And the difference being it's a bent shaft, obviously, on the TR4 transmission versus a straight shaft on the TR3. So we're going to swap those out, and then we'll get ready to put the transmission cover on with the seals and stuff. So that's where we're at to. I hate that transmission cover. That's always a pain in the butt to do, isn't it?
Yeah, if you want to put all the bolts in, yeah.
Yeah.
But if you only put 2 bolts, it's fine.
2 bolts were good?
My Spitfire doesn't have any bolts.
Oh, don't tell anybody that. All right, so we're going to do exactly what we said. Rusty's excited. All right, it's about an hour and a half later, and we're slowly getting there. So we've had challenges. First of all, the shifter that we took out didn't have a plunger. So then we needed to find the plunger. So we have a couple spare transmissions laying around, the TR4 transmission that came out of this car. Plus we have another shifter top that I'd found and gave to Elin for spares. So we were trying to get the plunger out of that, and then we couldn't get the caps off of either one. They're absolutely seized on there. Like, we couldn't air hammer it off. So then Elin decided he was going to make his own plunger. So he made his own plunger based off of the Moss Motors website, and that turned out being too long, so I had to trim that down. Then we lost the spring for a little bit and found it. Then we had to trim that down.
Yeah, because it turns out the spring was not the original spring. It was a spring from a transmission from a synchro ring.
Okay. Then we discovered that we had the wrong through bolt, because the TR3 through bolt is wider or bigger than the TR4 shifter through bolt. So anyway, it's been a bit of a challenge.
It's been like fighting with.
So it'd probably be 2 hours by the time we get the shifter in this car. But anyway, we're just about there. Just had to find a nut for the other side, and I think we've got it now. So onwards and upwards, but it's been a challenge.
It's been a big challenge.
All right, it's the next day at the Rusty Beauty shop. And we didn't film a lot yesterday as we had a bit of a crisis to deal with. Had a bit of a windstorm yesterday, and it actually blew the entire top off of this tent over here and actually ripped it in half. So Lynn had to do an emergency buy and go out and buy a new tarp for the top of this frame, as obviously we store stuff in here. So he had to go to a local store and purchase, I think it's a 20 by 30 tarp off the top of my head. Anyway, we installed that last night before it got dark, so that took priority over anything we were going to be doing in the garage. Anyway, it's another day. So we did do a few things yesterday, and I've done a few things today before you joined us here. So I did get to the hose clamps in the engine bay. I've exchanged those out with some fuel injection clamps. I've now hooked up the choke cable. I've actually done the hood felts, which is right here. We're missing a hood felt running along this bar here. So I've got a new felt put all the way in there. That should keep the hood from buffeting. I actually tucked a felt in up under there and cut a little piece off, so that's a little bit better. Here are the aforementioned fuel line clips over here, and we put a couple of new clips over there. So those are done. What else did we do? We did the transmission tunnel. I think we took a bit of video of that. So that's kind of a big job to get the transmission tunnel installed. So that's good, which means now we can work on that H-frame. We did the speedo cable as well, and we tucked that under the transmission tunnel. We fixed the exhaust leak yesterday, and that's pretty much about it. So we're going to continue on from there. I think we are going to make some carpets, and the next step, so we can continue on with that H-frame and get those bottom controls installed. We did do the gear shift lever as well. I think I took a little video talking about the problems we had or encountered doing that. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about the carpet. All right, so as mentioned, today Elin's going to be busy because we did actually drive around and found some carpeting yesterday and some binding material, and we're just about to drag the sewing machine out into the forefront. So we went out initially trying to find black carpet, went to a few different places or looked at a few different places, and unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, we are going to go with a dark gray or graphite colored carpet in the car versus a black. I think that'll look fine with the black interior bits and the red exterior. The car carpet up here is hard to come by. It was special order, so we didn't want to wait for that. There's carpeting on Amazon, but doesn't get very good reviews. It's more like speaker box coating, so very thin texture. So anyway, we've got the gray carpeting here, and we're going to do a black binding on it. So again, this turned out to be a little bit difficult to find. So just rolls of black vinyl. This is actually quite a nice black vinyl. So Elin's going to do the borders, or the, what's it called, welting? Binding on the carpets with the black, or piping on the carpets with the black vinyl. So we'll cut that into strips. So anyway, we went to 5 different stores to find that, if you can believe that. So anyway, it was a bit of an adventure for sure. So gray carpeting, black binding. So I think what we're going to do, like I said, we're going to drag the sewing machine out. Elin is going to do some magic, and I think the first carpet we're going to work on is that transmission tunnel carpet. So I'm not sure if it's a 1-piece or 2-piece over the transmission tunnel. It's a 2-piece, he says, and we've got to make it so that it's bound around the gear shift, or the gator for the gear shift cover. So there's got to be a hole there, and bound around the inside of the hole. All right, so Elin's got the sewing station set up. So just so you know, Elin's going to be doing a video at some point on his channel. It'd probably could be a few weeks from now, but he is going to film the process of making the carpets. I don't know if he's going to do all of them or just some of them, just to show you the process. But be sure to look at his channel. If you're following my channel, you're probably following his channel already, the Rusty Beauties channel. I'll put a link in the description below so you can pick up this video of him making the carpets there. All right, guys, welcome back. It's now Saturday, August the 12th, just coming up to about 11 a.m. And we are at the Rusty Beauty shop, where it's a picture of serenity this morning. Actually, raining, overcast. It's supposed to be a car show day today, but that's been canceled or postponed until tomorrow. I was hoping to go to 2 shows this weekend, one today at the Edenvale Aerodrome. There's supposed to be a classic car show and fly-in of old aircraft or vintage aircraft, but that was postponed until tomorrow, which puts off my plans to go to the Whitchurch Stouffville Museum car show, which I normally go to on the Sunday. So I've got to make a decision to go to one or the other, and I'm going to go up to the Edenville fly-in. I enjoy that show quite a bit. Anyway, we are flying solo today as Elin is on vacation with the family. So we are back working on the 62 Triumph TR4 ourselves this morning and picking up where we left off. And I can see that Elin's done a lot of work. I left off, he was making carpets. And if you want to see the completed carpet making video, Elin will be uploading that eventually, I'm sure probably after his vacation. So this is kind of a sneak preview of that video, let's say, because I see that Elin, before he left, actually laid all the carpets in the car, and they are looking fantastic. I think the gray looks fine, the gray with the black binding. So my job today is to get these. Actually, they're not fastened down currently, so I need to fasten them down where they need to be fastened. I need to get that center H frame in so we can get the switch gear in from behind. So that's my primary job for today, is to do that. I also got a new steering wheel for the car. I know some of you purists will like this wheel, and I actually like the wheel too. The only problem is it's too big for me to get under. So we've got a smaller wheel to fit to the car, which I'm sure is going to look just fine. I also rebuilt that temperature gauge that I was having issues with. So I do have it currently bench tested and working, so we'll see if we can get it in the car and working. So that's the job for today, and I don't know how far we'll get, but I think the first thing I want to do is to try to get that H-frame installed. We've been talking about that for the last number of videos, and I'm tired of saying it. So let's go ahead and get crack-a-lackin' and get that done at least. All right, we've stripped the carpets back out, and we're just about to start working on the transmission cover pieces. And we've got the forward piece here, which is the two-piece that Elin has sewn together in the center. What we're going to do is we're going to apply some underpadding. So I've got some underpad over here that we're going to cut to size, and we're actually going to glue to the back of these carpet pieces. So I'm pretty much going to do underpad on all of the pieces that Elin has cut. I'm pretty sure I have enough there in that roll to do it. So we'll start with, like I said, the transmission tunnel pieces, and then we'll go from there. So we've got just some spray adhesive here. This I'm going to use this Gorilla Glue. I haven't used this before, but we'll give it a shot. It's much cheaper than something like the LePage's heavy-duty spray adhesive that I normally would use. I think it's about half the price. So hopefully it holds up and does the job. So like I said, I'm going to mark out some underpad, I'm going to glue it, and then we'll fit it to the car. For the transmission tunnel pieces, generally I don't glue it entirely over the top of the transmission cover. I just glue it basically over the hump section at the top. So just a band at the top. It really doesn't go anywhere other than that. You want to be able to fold the bases up to get to the fasteners if you ever have to get the cover back off. So really I just apply glue towards the center hump of the cover, and on this piece at least. I don't really worry too much about it moving, because that center H-frame piece is going to hold it down a little bit once it gets bolted to the floor. All right, there it is with the underpadding applied to the bottom side of that tunnel piece. So that's ready to go back in the car. So we're going to dry fit it again before we actually go ahead and glue this one in place. All right, we're doing pretty good on the center console install. We'll come back to that in a minute. I've just installed the temperature gauge in place and hooked it up, and we're going to see if it actually works. Let's come back after we run it for a few minutes and see if it's actually working. I haven't put the bracket on yet. That might be a job for small hands, man. Let's see if the gauge works first. All right, looks like we have a working temperature gauge, as you can see, so that's a good thing. So let's see what temperature we get to if we just let it idle for a few more minutes. All right, temperature is holding solid right in the middle of the gauge. So that's looking good. So we'll turn her off now, and we'll call that a success as far as the temperature gauge is concerned. And then we'll come back and take a quick look at the dash. All right, I promised I'd come back and give you a quick look. So the center console is now installed with all the knobs. They are not necessarily wired up, but they are installed. The wiring is close by. We'll let Elin do that. We do have the dummy stereo installed. We are not going to hook that up. We are going to, I don't know if I mentioned this or not, we are going to be putting a stereo in the glove box, a modern stereo, and we have already started by hanging the framework inside the glove box. I'm not sure if I showed that or not. But that's looking pretty good. Again, Elin needs to install the temperature gauge when she gets back. But yeah, I think that's looking good. There's our new shift knob for the TR4. Thanks again, Barry, for supplying that. So looks good. The carpet looks good. Made sure that we got the piping along the edge there, just behind the frame, straight all the way, because I know Elin would bug me if I didn't. So that's looking pretty good. Looks nice and tight around the boot for the shifter. So that looks good. So I think we can move on now, and I think what I'll do now is we'll do the sill carpets. So those need to be glued in, and these are these long pieces here that have the piece of vinyl on the side of them. And the intent with the vinyl is the vinyl will actually be captured by the door seal. There's another seal here that runs in the door. That's the one that I've been waiting for in the mail. Looks like it's been returned to sender, so I'll probably have to wait another couple weeks for that to come. So anyway, that gets captured when the door sill or door seal fits on that little trim piece here. That will actually pinch this piece of vinyl and clean that area up. So we can at least install it though. We'll glue them in both sides, get that out of the way, then probably move to the rear shelf. What we do in the rear shelf is we glue that centerpiece down over the hump. And then I think what I'll do on the flat surface piece is I've got some industrial Velcro. I think we'll use some Velcro strips to keep that down. A couple different ways you can do it. You can actually use the carpet snaps for them, which I've done in the past. Some people will actually glue this down. I don't suggest that. If it gets wet, you'll want to remove it. So I think the Velcro would probably be a good alternative here. So we'll bring you back when we get to that area. All right, here's our rear shelf mat. And we've just dry fitted it again with the underpad in place. And I marked out this yellow strip here on the front, and that's where we want to put some Velcro on the back. So we've got some industrial strength Velcro, just a roll of it. And we're just going to put a small piece here, about there or so. We're going to glue that on. Although it's self-adhesive, we want to glue it, extra glue it, because it'll just sometimes pull right off the carpet, so we'll give it a little bit of help. And then we're going to put its match on the shelf here along this area, and that should stick that carpet down well in that area. And then we can concentrate on the kickboard part of it and probably do a quick Velcro fastener there as well. All right, if you're worried about getting an extra layer of material, you can always pocket your Velcro into your underlay or underpad like I have here, so it's not going to stick up and stick out. So we're going to apply the other side of the strip to the car now, and then we'll apply the carpet and we'll see how it looks. All right, we've got that rear carpet shelf fitting in there as it should, and Velcro down at the corners on each side and at the bottoms, so that's not going anywhere. I've got the seat tracks out, and this car I've never had seats in it in my ownership, so this is the first time that seats will actually be fitted. The seats that came in it were just sort of just loosely piled in the car. So we are going to be going with the TR250 seats, or the seats for my 250 over there. But we're going to do a dry fit on the tracks first. The carpet goes underneath the tracks, but I want to make sure the tracks actually work in this car first. I do have the hardware over here ready to go, laid out, including the spacers. So the tracks actually have spacers so they don't foul on the carpet. So those are important if you want to move your seats forward and back. Anyway, let's dry fit these, and then we'll come back and we'll get ready to fit them. Hopefully they're going to fit okay. Then we'll fit the under seat carpet and underpad, and then we're obviously going to have to make some holes in that to get the bolts to go through to the floor pans to secure those tracks in place. All right, we've got the holes located for the carpet, for the seat tracks. So we'll go ahead and we'll lay the tracks on, and we'll get the hardware installed and get the tracks installed. Don't forget the spacers. And then we'll move on to the passenger side, do the same thing. All right, there's the first seat track installed, and it's looking good. I'm curious now, to see what the seat looks like installed. And I've just put that center piece in there loosely. So I guess what we'll do now is we'll fit the seat, run it out of steam. I don't think we're going to get to the other side, but let's get the seat in this side. I'd really like to get the new steering wheel on as well today, but let's see how the seat goes in and then we'll go from there. All right, guys, one last update for the night. Got the new steering wheel installed. There it is, so I can actually sit in the car now. Seat's installed, and oddly enough, I don't even have to have it all the way back. Actually, if I have it all the way back, I can't reach the pedal, the clutch pedal. So I've got to have it midway, but it does go back, and it actually will touch the wheel arch here at the back if you want it to go back that far. So the driver's side is done, with the exception of the front carpeting needs to be secured. I'm not sure what I'm going to do there, whether I'm going to go Velcro or whether I'm going to do snaps, but we just got it sitting there, and we just have the other carpet sitting there. It's not attached in any way, shape, or form. I still need to do the seat track on that side. I'm just tired. It's 6 p.m., so I've probably been out here for about 6 or 7 hours today, and lots of kneeling and leaning, and it's been hot out here in the garage, so I think we're going to call it a day and go home and relax. Get ready for the show tomorrow. So I'll probably be back here, hopefully, maybe Monday night after work, and we'll see if we can actually get the passenger side done and the interior completed. So that's it for now, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for subscribing. Bella, not supposed to be in here. All right, Monday afternoon, back at the Rusty Beauty shop. How am I supposed to work when there's kittens? Hey. There's Bella, the mother. I think the kittens are 6, 7 weeks old now. So anyway, I could sit here all day and watch them play, but we got to do some work on the 64. It's waiting for me. All right, little kittens, time for sleep. Sleepy time. All right, let's pick up where we left off from the other video. And we were just about to get to installing the seat track on the passenger side. So what I need to do is I need to pull that carpet out and the seat track that's just sitting on top of the carpet. And we need to tap out those holes, first of all, and then we need to do a location punch through the carpet. Once we get the carpet situated where we want it, we'll punch through it with an awl into the captive nuts on the floorboards, and then we'll tighten them down and put them in place, and then we'll attach the passenger side seat with the two front mounting bolts like we did on the passenger side or on the driver's side. And then we can move on to probably doing a little bit of work on the center carpet. The tunnel carpet is just laying there. It's not fastened. Probably to a couple of Velcro strips on the edges of that to fasten that where it's at. And then we can move on to the front carpets. We're not probably going to do too much to the front carpets except probably do a Velcro location for the front two carpets. And we're going to have the overmats in there anyway on top. So anyway, let's get busy and tap those holes out so we can fasten these seat tracks down through the carpet. All right, guys, quick update for you. We're going to call the interior done as far as I can go at the moment. It's looking pretty darn good. I think you'll probably agree. So carpets look great. I'm happy we went with that dark gray in the end. Looks really nice behind the seats. Nice rear shelf. Front carpets fit really nice. Tunnel carpets fit nice. We've got everything Velcroed down now in location, so it's easily removable if it gets wet. And we've got some other areas Velcroed down, like the center tunnel carpet is also Velcroed on either side, so that's easily removable. So yeah, rear piece is Velcroed down, so that's easily removable. Seats are fixed in place, and we have the locking plates adjusted on both seats, and they are working as they should to keep the seats from coming forward, so they're locked down. Of course, working on the lever. Again, we're still waiting for our trim pieces to hide this vinyl piece. As I'd mentioned, we'll wrap over the edge here and seal that area off, so that'll look much better. And the only other thing that we're missing are the kick panels, and I believe Elin's going to work on those when he returns from vacation. I'm going to give him the hardboard to put those on because they're actually affixed to a piece of hardboard and then screwed or Velcroed to the bulkhead side panels. So yeah, looking really good. It'd be interesting to hear your opinion. So I guess we can move on to another job. Now we'll cross this one off the list, at least temporarily. maybe we'll work on that rear trunk weather stripping and see if we can get that to stick in place a little bit better. I did buy some adhesive for that, just some different Gorilla Glue over here. I've got this stuff, Clear Grip, so we'll give that a shot, and it's a contact adhesive, as you can see there. We'll give that a shot and see if that'll hold that weather stripping in place. All right, guys, I think we're going to put an end to this video. I did a few more things. I did install the battery hold down. That was on the list, and you might be able to tell I put a little piece of rubber tubing on the inside of that bracket, as it comes pretty close to the posts on the battery. I never really liked that on the TRs, how close the posts come to the battery hold down. I may actually scallop out that hold down area just around the post, just to give it a little bit more clearance. I don't want to weaken the bracket though, so I have to think about that a little bit. I'm sure it's fine the way it is, but just a little bit better peace of mind if I had a little bit more clearance there between the bracket and the posts. The other thing I did was I did the installation of the weather stripping glue on the rear seal, and we've just got the trunk clamped down, and hopefully that's going to dry up nicely and hold in place. I don't know if you can see over here. It's either feeding time or a combination of feeding time and nap time over there. How cute is that? Anyway, so the weather stripping adhesive has been applied in the back here. So we're running out of things to do on the list, which is good. There are a few things that are partially done. Like I said, we need to go back and install the temperature gauge fully. The switches need to be wired up on the center console. Still need to do the car stereo. But really we're coming down to it. In the engine bay, the only thing I really need to do here is to do the valves, and we need to do some carburetor tuning. So we have Dr. Carburetor coming, I think, next week to give us a hand to do that. I do have the chrome filters to install eventually. Over here, some nice SU filters, SU branded filters to go on over here. So that'll dress this part of the engine bay up a little bit. So yeah, we're getting towards the end of this project before, of course, we have to go get it safetied and certified. We just got this little console sitting in here. Don't know whether that'll stay or not, but it's kind of nice as an armrest. Anyway, I think it's looking good, coming together. So we'll probably come back tomorrow evening after work and do a few more little jobs and feed the cats while I'm here, water the garden. But that's pretty much about it for this video. So again, thanks for watching, thanks for commenting, and thanks for subscribing. And we'll see you on the next video.